All right, friends. Howdy. It's been a while. I figured that today would be a good time to make a video about firewood splitting, splitting axis, and chopping block and no chopping block and chopping tyre and that kind of stuff. It's pretty sunny out here. Some of y'all know exactly where I am. That's a Hoover Dam right there that I built, full of brush, ready to be lit up when the right time comes. This is my old friend here, and we have a grain trailer full of rounds from a dead spruce tree, friends. Here in Finland we have a disease. It's a beetle. It's a bug that eats a spruce and kills it. And this one got eaten up by that bug, and it was dead. So we decided to make firewood with it. Before I continue, I want to apologize. I don't feel sharp at all. I've been through some real tough situations lately, near death. Shed 20 pounds, over 20 pounds in a week. It's been horrible, so I don't feel sharp at all, friends. Sometimes I don't find the words. But whatever, so here we have the spruce, some big rounds, big diameter rounds, and some smaller rounds. And the grain trailer is full of these. So maybe we can start with the axis. So y'all know that, this way I don't get the shade, y'all know that I've been swinging an axe since I'm a child. I grew up with an axe in my hand. I've probably chopped thousands and thousands and thousands of cords of firewood or cubic meters. I've had many. I think I have over 20 axes, and the ones that resemble something, the ones that mean something to me, with a wooden handle like this one right here, I give them Nordic goddesses names, and in particular this one right here, her name is Gudrun. The other ones I own, that black one in the middle, and the steel, the other one, it belonged to a friend. But none of those two, actually I don't own that black one either, sorry. So I own Gudrun and the steel. The other two are borrowed. But I've manufactured this one myself for a friend. So anyway, the ones with a plastic handle, they don't have a name. I don't give them a name. They don't mean nothing to me. They're just a piece of low quality steel made in China probably, and a piece of plastic, so they don't deserve a name. But this one up, obviously I bought it. I didn't forge ahead myself, but I modified the handle. I put linseed oil. I how is it called? Blued the head. It's a chemical process. It's called cold bluing. I cold blew it to protect it from rusting. I sharpened it, razor sharp, everything. So it means a lot to me. So that's why she got a name. So anyway, you see they're all different. And what I wanted to say about axes, I'll say the same thing that Buck and Billy Ray says, friends. You can go check them out, but essentially I have the same thing to say. I have the same experience. I've had many axes in my hands. I've chopped a lot of firewood. So like with a lot of things, like golf clubs and guns and fishing rods and trucks and tractors, and there is a whole science around one topic, and axes are no different. So, and like with everything, people that they're getting initiated with hand splitting firewood and that type of thing, they all try to, as humans, we all try to find a fit it all kind of solution, right? One axe for every job. And yeah, certainly you can do that. You can go to the store and pick up yourself a Vickers X25, X27, whatever the model that is, and Steel, Husqvarna, some cheaper brands, whatever. And yeah, they work. You're gonna split firewood with them, no doubt. But I'm not after splitting firewood. I'm after enjoying the experience. I'm after the joy of it. There is attention to detail to that, so that's why I have many. So anyway, with axes, it's all about profile, friends. What do I mean by profile? If you take your axe, this is a good room, put it like this and look at it from above, this is the profile, okay? This in particular is a Helkowerk, a German brand, 1,800 grams. So it's a 4.5 pound, I think, or 5 pounder. Helkowerk, don't know the model, but this is a Tasmanian pattern. The shape of the head, this broad head. You see the palm of my hand? It's pretty broad. This is a Tasmanian pattern, and people that don't know a lot about axes, they will tell you that, oh, you can't use that for splitting. That's for chopping, not splitting. You need to get yourself something like this with a more aggressive wedge, with a fatter wedge. And I say, okay. Then I'll tell them, go ahead and try Gudrun. Then try your Vickers or whatever. And they all go, wow. So yeah, it's not that intuitive, friends. This right here, it's pretty useless. It doesn't, when you hit the wood, it sticks, you can't get it out. This is worthless. Again, go and check Buck and Bill Ray. This one, it splits, but you can also, it doesn't get stuck in the wood, friends. It doesn't, unlike that one there. It doesn't get stuck, it splits. But you can also grab wood. For example, look at that round. I want to put it on that chopping block. I don't want to carry that by hand. So it's a little bit tricky to do it one-handed. But essentially, you see that? I pick it up and I'm carrying, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 pounds. Or you see? Then I drop it and that's it. I'm able to grab wood with Gudrun, with the profile. She's so sharp. And then when I swing, see, I can get it out. Doesn't get stuck, unlike that one with a fat wedge. See, now it split. Now it popped. Now it cracked. See that? You heard it. But again, I can easily get it out. I just gently push it and boom, out. So I can grab wood if I want, but I can split and it doesn't get stuck. You won't be able to do that with that piece of shit, friends. So, are you going to split firewood with this? Definitely. But it's like comparing, I don't know, friends, Mercedes, with a freaking, I don't know, Hyundai or whatever, or Kia, or, So anyway, different profiles. So this is a piece of shit. Okay, you can pick it up for cheap. It will work. It's too short of a handle anyway. It's a piece of plastic, low quality steel. Then I have this one, pretty interesting one. This one right here, friends, It's an old hand-forged Finnish axe. And it's not only Finnish, because it was made in Finland. The shape of the head is known as a Finnish axe. Like that one over there, known as a Tasmanian pattern. This is a Finnish axe. In particular, this one made in the early 1900s or late 1800s. It's a Billnäs. Billnäs was a forge in Finland, and it's a predecessor of Vickers, friends. And there's also another brand, Kellokoski. Kellokoski and Billnäs are ancient brands. They were forged in Finland with Swedish steel. And the steel in this axe, hand forged, this one is being abused, friends. And it works like a charm. You won't be able to grab wood like I did with Gudrun, but it will chop and it won't get stuck. See, profile, look it up from above. Okay, so, and then I manufactured a metal handle. I welded it to the head for the friend, because he wanted something durable. He didn't want to mess with putting linseed oil and the axe and all that kind of stuff. He also didn't want to have a busted handle. So I said, okay, I don't know how to make it in plastic, but I know how to make it in metal. So I manufactured the handle with a piece of pipe and then welded it to the head. And it works like a charm. For example, not with a chopping block, which it works as well, but it works pretty well with a chopping tire, because you're hitting the rubber. When your trike can go down, you're hitting the rubber with the part of the axe. And if you have a wooden handle, you're probably gonna butt it, or maybe you're gonna stain it in black. With this metal handle, it doesn't really matter if you get black stains, from the rubber, from hitting the rubber. Even the plastic one doesn't matter. You see, it's already gotten black there. Doesn't matter. I don't care about this, that's not like Gudrun. I don't care about this one. So yeah, ancient axe works like a charm for chopping. It won't grab wood, but it also won't get stuck. And it's a light one, and it's a Finnish invention. I mean, it's made for hand splitting. Look at that profile, the angle and everything. And this one, you can pick it up from the hardware store. Still, Husqvarna, they make a similar axe, 31 inch or 32 inch in length, which is my preferred length. Sometimes I go with a 34 inch, but 32 inch is a pretty good length. It's a little bit too fat from here. The Germans, they have a tendency to make it too fat, the part of the handle. Again, what you're gonna get for the money, and especially nowadays with everything made in China and mass produced. He says made in Germany. I say okay, whatever, even if it's made in Germany, Chinese steel. You see, you already started to curl, to chip away. You don't see that with the Finnish hand forged axe. You don't see that. You see that here. So the quality of the steels nowadays, it's pretty shitty, friends. There is also another YouTube channel. I don't remember the name, but they actually test different materials, and they have this hydraulic press, and they press one modern axe like this one against an old one, and basically the old one, it's cutting through the metal of the modern one. That's how soft that steel is. Not the brand, the steel, the metal. That's how soft it is. You can even hear it when I knock it with my nail. It sounds completely different. You see? This is like glass. This is hardened steel. Hand forged. Mass produced. God knows what kind of heat treat. So anyway, friends, if you want to chop wood and you want to have only one axe, then go and pick up a steel, a Husqvarna, a Fiskars. In America, I've seen that Husky that they sell at Home Depot with a 34-inch handle. They're gonna work. You will, as a matter of fact, chop firewood with these. But I'm telling you, Buck and Billy Ray and I have the same message to say. Tasmanian pattern, wood ullet, wooden handle, 32-inch, linseed oil, American hickory, and blah, blah, blah. This is what I prefer. Now, big rounds like this, I split either directly on the ground, and I have the same splitting style as Billy Buck and Ray. I have the same. I split the same way. I don't fucking know how that's possible, but it's funny. I have the same splitting style. Sometimes I put on another round as a chopping block, like now if the ground is wet or whatever. But usually I just grab and move it around and position it, and I split it directly on the ground with good room. But if I have smaller rounds like those, then I like to use a chopping tyre. Because with a big one, you can only fit one at a time. It doesn't make sense, to have a chopping tyre for bigger rounds, bigger diameter. But for the smaller diameter wood, like this one, a few inches, thickness, then I like the chopping tyre, because you can fit several at a time. And when you're splitting, the chunks, they don't fly away. And it's nicer this way. And so I have two prototypes that I might with the same tyre, but different setup. This one I have only that piece of a plank. We call it waterboard here in Finland. You see? My finger thickness, 10 millimeter waterboard. They're super tough. The type of material, it takes water. That's why they're called waterboards up here. It's like a fancy, super durable plywood made in Finland. And I bolted down to a tyre, and then I built a handle with a rope. So this is a lighter version. Okay, it's also lower. And then I made this one. It's like a rack. I took is it a 5x5 or whatever, beams, and I put one like that, another one like that, and then the other ones on top. So I have a square, and then that type of a grill shape platform with 4 boards. It's a 5x2 or a 5x1. Okay, there are 4 of them. Again, everything screwed down. I have some metal angle 90-degree angle pieces here. And then on top of the boards, on top of this grill looking platform thing, I have the same material. I have the waterboard, the plywood, the finished plywood, the black one. And then on top of that, flat surface, I screwed down the tyre, and again I've manufactured the handles with rope, so 2 people can easily carry that, obviously empty. And yeah, with the chopping tyre, I do not use good room or the ideal chopping axe, like the wood ullet that Billy Buck and Ray made. This is too wide, friends, and I don't want to hit my beautiful wooden handle with a tyre. So when I'm on the chopping tyre, chopping smaller diameter wood, I go with something like that or that. Okay, plastic handle, metal handle, smaller head, I do not use that type of a thick, aggressive splitting maul thing. I don't deal with that. But something like this, you know, like the Finnish axe or this one. Look at that profile. Not too aggressive of a wedge. It's almost like the Vickers. Same profile. So yeah, for the chopping tire, I like to use that lighter, smaller axe with a handle I don't care about, like this one. So yeah, I can do firewood splitting with 2 axes, you know, with good room, with one of those. If I don't have smaller diameter wood, I don't need those. I stick with that one. If I only have small firewood, I won't take good room and use it with the chopping tire. If I don't have the chopping tire and it's small diameter wood, then I go on a chopping block and then I can use good room for that purpose. So I don't know. I hope this all makes sense, friends. Hot, windy spring day here in southern Finland. After a week of a near-death event, saying the same thing that Buck and Bailey Ray been saying for years, because we have reached the same conclusion after many years swinging an axe and splitting firewood and dealing with firewood and testing different axes, you know, and profiles and types of handles and handle lengths, and we've tested everything and we have reached the same conclusion. Yeah, and these are my chopping tire prototypes. So I hope you learned something. I hope I answered some questions, and enjoy the joy of firewood splitting. Over and out, friends.